Precious Metal Fair 2016 here in Munich. The Edelmetallmesse is still going on. Second day, we are in the afternoon, and with me here is now very successful company, First Mining Finance, and Patrick Donnelly, the CEO, wants to give us now an update and insight into your terrific mineral bank.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Patrick, welcome. First Mining Finance, you did a tremendous job in assembling sensational projects and taking advance of the bear market.
Yes.
And you are doing like a mineral bank. What is a mineral bank then?
Yeah, it's a different business concept. It's been done before, but this one's a little bit different where, you know, as you mentioned before, we just went through probably one of the worst bear markets we've seen in at least 20 years.
Yep.
And our business model was to go out and take advantage of that market and back up the truck and buy, you know, take out or acquire highly distressed junior mining companies that have quality assets.
Yeah.
So in a period of just over a year, we've made 8 acquisitions and acquired 12 assets.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, and now our bank, our mineral bank, has 25 assets, mostly gold, in various jurisdictions, various stages. We're not a developer. We're not going to mine them. We're going to add value. And right now, I think we're in the beginning of a new bull market. And as we get further along this bull market, we see valuations go much higher. We'll sell these assets for a much higher price than what we paid for, but we'll hold on to some sort of residual interest. So a royalty, a stream, a joint venture, a spin out, or some combination of the above. So eventually down the road, you know, we'll be similar somewhat to, you know, like a Royal Gold or to a Franco-Nevada or some other structure like that.
Okay.
But you know, we've gone from 0 ounces in the ground to about 13 million ounces of gold.
13, 1-0.
1-3.
1-3, yeah.
In just over a year.
Wow, crazy. When you say you are taking advantage of projects and properties, do you pay cash? Do you pay stock? How do you do that? We
were using our shares, and the reason being is, you know, it's hard to get cash for one, and two, you know, a lot of these companies are shareholders. They were already been beaten up pretty badly. Their cost base was quite. Some of them, you know, have very high cost bases. You want to give the former shareholders an opportunity to realize some value. So whenever we do these deals, we exchange our shares for the shares of these companies and allow their shareholders to have potential upside.
Okay, interesting. So maybe can you give us an example how you work a project out? How do you step on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, we hear about projects all the time. Investment bankers, shareholders, our personal connections. And usually what happens is, you know, we'll hear about a company, we'll go through the public disclosure and look at the resource estimates, look at the technical disclosure, corporate disclosure, and if something looks really interesting, we'll contact the company. And the first thing we'll do is we'll sign a confidentiality agreement. Once we sign a confidentiality agreement, the first thing we ask for is their drill hole database and also the resource estimate. And we will rebuild the resource estimate from scratch, from the beginning, from the bottom up, using $1,200 gold. And if it holds together and it's economic $1,200 gold, then we'll do a deal. So we do a lot of due diligence. It takes many, many months of due diligence, but once we find something we like, we move very, very, very fast.
Okay, wow.
And we're very aggressive.
Yeah. So how large is your team?
Well, we started with 3 people, and now we're up to 30. Wow. So we've grown. You know, we've got a market capitalization of 440 million Canadian. And now we have 25 assets and 13 million ounces. So to manage these projects, yeah, you need a good team. So yeah, we put together a really good team. We're in the middle of putting together a technical team to do some work on these assets. And now we're at 30 people.
Yeah. Can you maybe elaborate a bit, let's say 2016 is now finishing, let's say the short term, like 2017, and maybe the longer term perspectives of your company?
Yeah, so I'd say the next 12 months or so, you know, right now we're working on a budget. We expect to do about 50,000 meters of drilling next year. We'll do some resource estimates, a couple of economic studies. So, I mean, the question we get from our shareholders and potential shareholders in the market is, okay, you've done all these deals, what do you have?
Exactly.
And I think, and the second thing is, you know, are you going to generate any news flow? Are you going to generate any excitement? So that's leading on to, you know, putting money back into the ground, doing some drilling, doing resource estimates, those sorts of things next year. So next year will be a very busy year for us. You know, longer term, as we get further along into the bull market, as you see valuations move up, you know, we'll start doing deals. You know, the mining companies are desperate for assets. You know, the mining companies have just gone through this bear market as well. They have not been adding to the resource bases. They are coming back now. We've had a lot of interest from mining companies to buy some of our assets.
So like the Newmans, the Barricks, etc.
All of them.
Or mid-sized producers, whatever.
We've had large cap, mid cap, small cap producers, everybody. They've been coming up to say, listen, we like this asset or that asset. We want to do a deal. We tell them, we'll do a deal, but we're not going to do it right now. We want to see valuations much higher. We bought these assets for less than $10 an ounce. You know, we want to sell them for 70, 80, 90, $100 an ounce. So, you know, we want to really add, you know, really generate value for our shareholders, and we're not going to sell our assets for cheap. We're going to extract full value.
Super. So let's assume you are selling for a good price a project. Of course, you can reinvest, but also for your shareholders, could you imagine like to pay a special dividend, or do you want to pay later dividends, or what? How can I, as a shareholder, benefit aside that my price is moving up?
So, you know, when we sell these assets, you know, we'll sell them for cash, for shares, but we'll also hold on to residual interest, so in form of streams, royalties, that sort of thing. So the cash generated, the goal is to give it back to the shareholders. It belongs to them. So, you know, long term, 5, 10 years, whatever it takes, you know, when this thing finally matures and bears fruit, we'll give back the cash to the shareholders and put it back in their pockets.
Perfect. That's a great final sentence. Thank you very much for that. I like that because I like the approach, and I like that you think about your shareholders. That's very important for the future. And I think you have assembled sensational projects.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Patrick. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Patrick Donnelly, the CEO of First Mining Finance. Yeah, you heard it. They assembled sensational 25 projects and properties all together now, and they are taking advantage of this last bear market actually by paying with their stock. I think that's also a great idea to do that. The drills are turning. They will have a great news flow in the next year, of course, and also longer term. They want to pay back the cash to the shareholders, paying dividends, and reward the shareholders for their patience. That's exactly how it should be. Check out the company. Thanks and bye-bye from Munich.